I want to bring in Florida State Representative Anna Eskamani, a Democrat who represents part of the Orlando area. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And I should note, I know you're on your way to another engagement, which is why you're in your car, just so folks know. But let me start with this new law and what it means for women in Florida. And just so people are aware of what it says, no exceptions for rape or incest. There is an exception for women to be able to obtain an abortion if their health is in danger or if their baby has a fatal fetal abnormality. Talk about the impact for women in your state.
Absolutely. This is one of the most extreme abortion bans in the country, and one of the most extreme in Florida history. And as you noted, it bans abortion after 15 weeks with no exceptions for rape, incest, or human trafficking. And though it has these narrow exceptions for life of the pregnant person, it must be verified by 2 doctors. And even that exception is very, very narrow. And so we essentially are stripping away bodily autonomy for more than half of the state with this arbitrary deadline that's all a part of a national agenda to ban abortion around the country.
You wrote, I know, that these laws, in your view, punish poor people for being poor. Can you expand on that?
Absolutely. At the end of the day, different abortion restrictions will impact every single person. But those who have means are going to find a path to express bodily autonomy and access this procedure safely. You might have to travel to a different state, but if you have the means, you will find a way. For those who are low wealth, for communities of color, for those who do not speak English as their first language, we are trapping those individuals in a situation of dire circumstances where they may not be able to seek support in a safe way from another state. And so essentially, some women will have this access, but for those who are already marginalized, they're the ones who are going to face this burden the greatest.
The legal fight is already happening here. The ACLU, for example, has already said it was going to try to push back on this in court. What does that fight look like, especially given what we expect to hear from the Supreme Court, probably in June or early July, like the potential for this pretty significant blow to Roe versus Wade, as most experts are predicting?
What I want folks to know about Florida is that we are very unique in the fact that we have a right to privacy enumerated in our state constitution, which has stopped abortion bans like this from becoming law in the past. Now, of course, much like the Supreme Court of the United States, our state Supreme Court has become much more conservative, thanks to Governor DeSantis, but we have not actually heard an abortion issue before our state court. So I suspect that not only are we going to be watching what happens out of SCOTUS in this summer, but we're going to be having our own litigation strategy in state court upon what has been a constitutional protection to privacy that Florida voters have approved and sustained time after time when anti-abortion extremists have tried to water down.
Governor DeSantis has put Florida, right in the center of some of these broader cultural discussions, these so-called culture wars between abortion rights, critical race theory, that so-called Don't Say Gay law that's now in effect. How do you see that affecting the political atmosphere in Florida, given that the pendulum has swung to the conservative end in your state?
Well, Governor DeSantis does not care about Floridians. He's trying to campaign for president and talk to his Iowa Republican caucus voters. And unfortunately, we'll lose in that approach because he's not talking to Floridians what our needs are. And in fact, polling has showed us time and time again that Floridians overwhelmingly, alongside Americans, believe that abortion should remain safe and legal and without political interference. So